Well, hello again. This is Will Luden, your host at Revolution 2.0, a revolution of the heart. Bring you this week's episode, today's episode, which is the dinner table, a fundamental place where children need to learn and families interact. Together, together we are at episode 381. And speaking of together, normally we are at my home studio a little over 7,000 feet in Colorado Springs. Today, I'm in far northern California in Chico with my 3 sons, daughter-in-law, and 7 grandchildren. And that makes for quite the dinner table. And the dinner table that I'm talking about is where we share our morals, values, tips and tricks, secrets for life, and our heart with our family. And the dinner table is just sort of a placeholder, a name for all the things we do together, whether it's at the dinner table or playing with our kids in the backyard or in the car on vacation, going for a walk, helping them with their homework or just hanging out. All of those places are what I call the dinner table. And it's a powerful and necessary tool. And families that don't have the dinner table suffer, and their children certainly suffer the most. I'll give you one personal example of the dinner table. And that's a friend of mine, another fellow who graduated a different year from me, from the Harvard Business School with an MBA. But he didn't learn this at the dinner table. He's the best individual investor I know. And he learned this from his father and his family at the dinner table. And there are so many other examples, and we'll come up with some other things. For example, in the world of sports, the example that I just gave you with my friend is probably not a very well-known example, but it's an example that's meaningful to me. And there's other examples like in the sports world. Archie Manning, a former NFL quarterback, and his sons, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, both of whom have 2 Super Bowl rings each. Peyton is in the Hall of Fame, and the third son, Cooper, might have been the best of all, but for a disease, spinal stenosis, that kept him off the field. And then also in the world of sports, closer to home in Colorado, Ed McCaffrey, who I think has 5 Super Bowls, he won 3 with the Niners and 2 with the Broncos. And his 4 sons, 2 of whom are playing in the NFL, and the other 2 played at a high level in high school and college. Another clear example of the dinner table and the backyard and so on, where these secrets, tips and tricks and so on were passed along from one generation to another. And in the world of politics, you've got Joe Kennedy, who's the patriarch of the Kennedy family, and famous sons include John Kennedy, Teddy Kennedy, and Bobby Kennedy. And it seems there's always a Kennedy somewhere who's succeeding in politics and grabbing headlines. And Joe is the patriarch and the founder of the original dinner table. And then you've got the Bushes. You've got George Herbert Walker Bush and George W. And between the 2 of them, they served 12 years as president, and then former governor of Florida, Jeb Bush. Another example of the dinner table. And it doesn't matter what you think about the Bush politics or the Kennedy politics. This is an example of the power and effectiveness and the need for the dinner table. And when you look in the world of acting, you've got Kirk Douglas, father of Mike Douglas. You've got Martin Sheen, father of Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. You've got Henry Fonda, father of Jane and Peter Fonda. And then you've got Lionel Barrymore, who's the patriarch in the Barrymore family. And if you don't know who Lionel Barrymore is, you might know the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And if you don't know that movie, go watch it. It may be the best Christmas movie of all time. And Lionel Barrymore was the mean old Mr. Potter in that fancy wheelchair. And then you've got John Barrymore, Ethel Barrymore, and today you have Drew Barrymore. So those are examples, and there's tens of millions of examples, some of them going on right this second, of the effectiveness and the need for the dinner table. You've got examples, and it would be fun for you to cite some of those examples in the comments. And schools and government are not at all the right place to share morals and values and tips and tricks. They certainly aren't the right place to share your morals and values and tips and tricks, and they aren't the right place to share your heart. And you know what school is like. You have a test tomorrow and you cram for it, and then it's gone. And at the end of the year, you run out the door, you're gone all summer, and you've forgotten a third of what you learned, or at least by the time school comes around next fall. But the dinner table, the car vacations, the time together, the hanging out time, all of this builds and builds and builds. It isn't a dump and then gone. It builds and builds and builds. And we need to be about it. The dinner table, whether again it's at the dinner table or in the car or hanging out with the family or going for a walk, it's vital. We need to be about it. So what are your skills? You've got skills like you have athletic skills, you have science skills, you have a way of using humor to distill and to ease situations. What are your skills? What are your morals? What are your values? Where is your heart? Share it. Share it with your family. They need it. They'll share back. The dinner table goes both ways. And as your children and grandchildren age, the dinner table goes both ways. But the dinner table is absolutely vital. Be about it. Be about the dinner table. And then the next step, the next one is, you know what? The dinner table is everywhere. The people you meet when you're walking your dog, the people you meet on an airplane, in a restaurant, wherever. Family first, but the world is your dinner table. The world is your dinner table. So, share it. Family first, and the world is your dinner table. We're all part of that dinner table. We're all part of sharing morals, values, tips and tricks, humor, and our heart. We all have the personal responsibility for making our family and the world an effective dinner table. But personal responsibility is just one of the two main tenets here at Revolution 2.0. First main tenet is personal responsibility. Take it, teach it. And 2, be your brother's keeper. There is no other answer to the age-old question. What is the age-old question? The age-old question of, am I my brother's keeper? You betcha. You are your brother's keeper. Personal responsibility and be your brother's keeper. At the dinner table, at home, and in the world. So where do you stand? And what are you going to do about it? Doesn't matter where you stand. It does not matter where you stand if you don't do anything about it. So, whatever you do, and this is our send-off, our encouragement every time. Whatever you do, do it in love. Because without love, everything we do is empty. And here's a little cleanup at the end. You're going to love this. I'm at the hotel, and you can see this wonderful artwork, on the wall in the back. I've got my hotel coffee here. All of this is set up on one of those little bitty hotel tables. And of course, the hotel internet was down when I wanted to do this. So I'm using the hotspot in my phone. And I'm hoping that the quality came out, that things weren't, it's not going to be the same quality as my home studio, but I want the quality to come through. And even if the quality isn't quite the same, this is an important message. Share your morals, share your values, share who you are, share your tips and tricks, your secret for success. Share your heart at the dinner table at home and in the world. This is Will Luden. We'll talk next time.
You've been listening to Revolution 2.0. If you've enjoyed this stimulating, passionate, and relentless reasoning, we encourage you to get out there and do something. Follow Will Luden and learn more at revolution2-0.org.